In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the vPDF Desktop Encoder. We're going to be looking at how to use it and have a look at the results that you can expect to get from it. So first off, here is the software. This is the Desktop Encoder, and we have the main screen here, which gives you the option to choose the file or files or directory full of files that you wish to compress. The Desktop Encoder will do single files, batches of files, or directories and subfolders full of files all in one go. In our example, we're going to be just doing the one at a time, just to show you the results that you can get from it and also to save some time. We have some choices here. This is the next screen. This is the outputs option, which gives you the choice to either send the compressed file to another directory by selecting this, or keep the compressed file in the same folder or directory that the original resides in. The other option is this one here, which gives us a choice to delete the original file, keep the input file, or move the input file to somewhere else, which would result in the folder being full of compressed files only. And what else do we have here? We have the OCR option and the photo image encoding option. OCR, which we'll address in another video, is optical character recognition, which makes your document's text searchable, which means that on a document management system, for example, you can search by using keywords that are on the page and find your scanned images. So the OCR will be performed at the same time as the compression if you tick this box. This box here, the photo image encoding, will enable the encoder to optimally compress the image for photo encoding, and it's only really used if you are trying to compress a photograph, for example. So normally we don't have this checked either, because the compression settings are all preset to be optimally configured for general scanned documents, such as the ones I'll show you in my tests shortly. I think that about covers the options. We've kept it as simple as possible. The final one is this one here, but again, it's very simple. It's how good a quality do you want your output compressed image to be, good or poorer. We always have it around about 7 or 8 because we find that is fine for pretty much all types of scanned images that you scan in and want compressed. Just a point to note here, if you do wish to compress just black and white scanned images, then you can pull this slider all the way down to the left here, and the file size will be even smaller than it will be if it is up in this setting, but the quality of the black text or black content will be exactly the same no matter where you have the slider here, because the slider here only really affects the color content. Okay, with that said, let's do some tests. So this is my folder that I've got some sample files in. I'm going to maybe do this one. Let's open it up and show you it. So here we have a typical standard A4 page, single page, with a bit of color, some logos and black text, a bit of pen and a bit of highlighter pen, just a typical document. So we can see from the file size that it's 700k in size. Now 700k is typical of the standard PDF file size you'll get when you scan a document using any scanner which will be scanning to PDF in color. They're always going to be around about the same sort of size. The objective for vPDF is to compress this 700k image down to a file size of about 10 times, even possibly more, and retain the same quality and content with no differences whatsoever. That was the objective of vPDF. In fact, we wanted to achieve file sizes that if you were to scan in black and white, the file size would be the same as what we are trying to achieve with the color compression using the vPDF. And you'll see this when I do the example, that we'll manage to get the color image down to a file size that matches what black and white can achieve. So let's go ahead and do an example. Simply tick the box, select the option here to browse to your folder. I've selected single file, so I'm just going to pick one at a time here. You could have, as I said, select the multiple files or the folder itself and do the whole lot in the folder, but for this purpose, for this occasion, we'll just use the one just now. And that's pretty much it. We hit start and let it go. Now it'll take about a second or two to do it. Depending on the speed of your machine will determine the speed of the output. This is a fairly average Xeon processor machine, a few years old now, so it takes about a second or two with my machine. You will get it a lot faster. A point to note is that you can run multiple instances of the desktop encoder and utilize all the cores on your CPU. So if you had a quad core, for example, you could run 4 instances of the desktop encoder and get 4 times the output speed, because you'll be using all the cores at 100%, whereas what we're doing here with a quad core machine, just processing one document using one session of the desktop encoder, is we're in effect only using a quarter of the power of the machine. Just a point to note in case you were interested in increasing the performance and getting greater outputs. Okay, anyway, back to our example. You see it has appeared. You can see the file size has gone down to 44, which is far more than 10 times smaller, which is good. But the proof will be in the quality. We've seen the quality of the original, so let's have a look at the quality of the compressed one. As you can see, it's exactly the same. We've got all the text and all the colour and all the pen marks and logos just as before. We can do a zoom on it and you can see that the quality doesn't degrade and the text stays pin sharp all the way up to the highest zoom. So that is the compressed document. You can see here we've got the highlighter pen, which has been retained, and all the colour of the pen. It's all there just as in the original. Now a point to note, when I say it as original, we made the vPDF and compression encoder such that it would be compliant with British standards 000, PD 0008 and 0009, and also PDF-A compliant, so that you know that these documents, once they're compressed, are admissible in court if so desired. So that is just a point to note there. We can kill this. I'll just open up the original once again just to let you see a side by side in effect. We zoom in and there is the original one, just the same as the compressed one. So there we go. 700K was the original size. As I said before, this is typical of the size you get from a PDF scanned image from any scanner, and 44K is typical of the file size you get from the vPDF compression technology. So that gives you an indication and an idea of what to expect and how to use the desktop encoder. I'll do one more just to confirm what we've been doing, and in case there's anything else you want to see, we'll do the purchase PDF here. If I open this up, I will show you how it looks from the original. We've got more highlighter pen here, we've got a bit of red here, we've got pink background, we've got the faint text as you can see here. The reason I mentioned faint text, because faint text is notoriously hard to retain when you're adding compression in the normal manner, and it's also a lot of it gets lost if it's faint and you're scanning in black and white, because as you know, black and white is black or white and there's no grey, so it's, the black and white algorithms have to make a decision of what stays black and what stays white, or what becomes black and what becomes white. So that's why there's usually a lot of loss potential on the data and content of a black and white document. Again, that's one of the reasons why we wanted to ensure that our vPDF compression did not lose any of the information and content on the document. That was vital to be achieved. So back to our example, I can kill this. I can then again show you how to compress this purchase PDF. Okay, so it's at 870K. That's the 300 dots per inch, just as the one before. in colour from a standard scanner. Any scanner will produce the same sort of size. You may get slightly different sizes by 100k here and there, but they will always be around about the same sort of size. And we're going to compress this one using the same settings as before. There we go. It's appeared here. We've got this one. This one's got at 65, and we can open it up and have a look. As you can see, it again is exactly the same as the previous one. Sorry, the original one. All the colour is there, all the highlighter pens there. There's no loss, no content or data loss. Okay, that pretty much covers our quick look at the Desktop Encoder, how to use it and what to expect from it. So I'll end here and we'll see you in the next video.